Hi everyone, Srini here. Welcome back to my channel. And this is going to be the third part in our automation lead interview question series. So this is going to be a very important part which I'm going to cover today. That is going to be the practical Java coding questions which any particular senior position which you are going to get interviewed for, be it automation lead or automation architect or principal automation engineer, they will definitely test your technical skills. Okay. So this is going to be today's topic, important Java coding interview question, which I'm going to cover one of the question, and I'm also going to show you all the solution for the same. So this is going to be covered in today's video. So if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing to it and hit the bell icon to get notifications. And also I've got another channel, Code Tech and AI. So please do subscribe to that as well, because in the upcoming videos which I'll be uploading, it will be into that particular channel. So don't miss out on any notifications for that channel as well. Okay, let's get started. So what I'm going to have a question is that, okay, I'm going to have a online Java compiler which I have opened in front of you. Okay. And let's say, as I've mentioned in this particular document, let me show you a document that they will be asking you a Java coding question. Mostly it will be on arrays or strings. Okay. And we are going to cover in today's session how we can answer this particular question which is asked in the interview. That is, I'm just going to go above slightly. Find out occurrences of duplicate words in a string along with the count of them. So we need to print it along with the duplicate words. We need to also find out the count, how many times it's getting repeated. Okay, so let's copy this question just so that we are able to understand what exactly we have to do. Okay, so what are they saying? We are having a string as an input given by the user. We need to find out duplicate words. Okay, that is the first part of the question. Second part is we need to find the occurrence. Means the second part is we need to find the count. Occurrences means we need to find the count. First part is we need to find the duplicate words. Okay, so this is the two things which are mentioned here in the question. First of all, we will try to change our class name to duplicate words. Fine. Then after that, what we have to do is we need to just have some kind of a string created inside our main method. Let's say Python, Java are great languages, right? Let's have some meaningful sentence. Java is a very old programming language. Not going to spend much time. Quickly, let me do it. Python has evolved over the last few years, and Python will overtake Java. I'm just giving some kind of a random thing here. Okay. So what do you see in this one? We have programming word. Okay. So programming word is also getting repeated. Okay. Then languages is only once. Language is only once. Okay. I'm saying Python language will overtake Java. Okay. So languages become two times here. Okay. Java is how many times? Two times. Python you can see is 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So we have Python 3 times, Java 2 times, programming 2 times, and language also 2 times. So these are the repeated words in the, so this is what they are asking, right? We need to find duplicate words in a string along with how many times they are getting repeated. So this is a string which the user has got as a question in the interview. Okay. Now we will be creating one method, public void, okay, find duplicate words. Okay. This is going to do the job of finding the duplicate, but what duplicate words, right? It has to get the string from somewhere. So it will be getting a parameter, string str. This is how we need to structure our solution. Don't write everything inside the main method, the logic. Always create methods and then invoke those methods from your main method. Fine. Now what we are going to do, we have to accept a string. Now in string, we would be using some inbuilt functions because we have to split this entire string into different words so that we can have some kind of a iteration, okay, over that words, and then we'll be able to find out whether it's a duplicate or not a duplicate, right? So what I'm going to do as a first step, I'm going to write down the pseudocode also. First step is we need to find duplicate words. Okay, sorry, not duplicate words. So I'll say first we need to split the string into multiple words. This is the first algorithmic approach which we have to take. Second thing is we need to iterate over the array of these words, array of words, okay, and then form a logic, to identify any of the words are duplicate. You need to find out if there is any kind of a duplicate word which are duplicate. If any of them is duplicate, store into a data structure along with the count, along with the repeated count. So if you see the third part, we have to not only find the duplicate word, okay, we also have to store it along with its repeated count. So if you see, we have got two things to be taken care or stored here. Okay. So it's now let's look at the data structures what we have in Java. Okay. Quick look at the data structures in Java. We have list, we have set, we have queue, right? We also have arrays, we have strings, we have maps, right? So these are the different popular data structures which we have in Java. If you look at them, list is going to store only one dimensional data, means it's going to store only one set of data. Okay, it's going to be list of something like list of words, list of numbers. Similarly, set is going to store like that. List is going to have also duplicate. Set may have only unique. Set will not have any duplicate. List can have duplicate. Queue is mostly used in the cases when we want to basically queue up something, or we want to basically do first in first out. We also have stacks, by the way, right? Stacks is basically like last in first out, but again it's only one set of data which we are using. Arrays is also going to be one set of data. Strings is also like either number, integer, or any other objects which you want to store. But maps, it stores key and value. If you see here, we have key as well as value. So this is perfect for our situation in the current question, because we have to not only identify the duplicate word which is the key, we also want to find out how many times it's getting repeated. So what we can do is, first let's use the inbuilt function split. But for split, we need to give a regular expression. So what is the regular expression we are going to identify from this given string? It is the space. If you see, between every word there is a space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give one space. And what I'll be doing is I'll be converting. So this split is going to return you an array of string. So I'm going to have here array of string, and I'll say list of strings. I have a list of strings here. So it's a string array. Now we can go over this string array by doing a loop, for loop. So I equal to 0, I less than, let's do it init cap. This is the proper naming convention. And I less than string size, string, so list of strings dot length. Because in array we have the length property to identify the size of the array, and then we are going to increment the loop counter. So this is going to be the first thing which we are going to do. So this is the first step which we have done now. We are split into multiple words. Now we are trying to do the second part. So this is the first one. Now we are starting with the second part. Second is to do the iteration. Okay. Now comes the third part. Right? That is to logic to store duplicates. As we have discussed, we have drilled down our logic that we need to use maps data structure here. So I'll be creating a hash map. And in the hash map, I will also be using it like string, comma, integer, generic type of hash map. And let me give it some good name like all words, because we are going to identify all the words in the string, right? So all words equal to new hash map. And again, copy the same data type, whichever we have created here, the generics, right? That is all we need to initialize it. Okay. Once that is done, now we need to start doing iteration. No, sorry, we need to start finding the duplicate once we start accessing each and every value in this list of strings. So if you want to access a value within this array, you can access within the array by using this particular way. We are trying to access the 0th index when the iteration is first time. So this is the value which is stored. Okay. So what we can do is we can just create a variable outside called string word, so that for every word which is coming, we can try to store it into this word variable. Okay, we have accessed the list of strings of I. We have got the word. Now we need to form a logic that is this word a duplicate or not. Okay. Now in hash map, we have one method. I'm going to put a if condition. If all words dot contains key. This is a method which we have in hash map to check if any word is, sorry, any key is present in the hash map or not. So if this key, that is word, is present, we will be getting a result as true. Means if condition will be satisfied, else it will not be satisfied. So I'm putting a comment here. If word is not present inside hash map, then we need to think of some other logic. Okay. If it is present, if word is present, then we need to do something, right? Let's identify what we need to do with that. If this word is present inside this hash map already, then what we have to do is, it is already present, so this is like a duplicate word which is coming because we are trying to run it in a loop. We are saying it is already present, so let's increment the counter by increment occurrence counter by 1. So we need to find out the existing value. So we have already checked it is containing this word, so we'll get the value. So I'll say increment existing occurrence counter by 1. So let's do that part. So later on, first we'll do the simpler part. If it is not present, what we need to do? If it is not present, we will have to add it to the hash map. Okay. So how we can add it to a hash map? We have to use a put method. What is the key here? Word is the key, right? And what is the condition we are saying? That it doesn't contain the word because we are in the else. If it doesn't contain the word, means it is coming for the first time. So put the counter as 1. The value will be 1 because this is the first time it is occurred. If it is not occurred for the first time, don't confuse yourself much. Just copy it, put it here, and you have to find out what is the existing count first, right? So you have to find out what is the existing count. So I'm going to say the key which I want to insert is the same, that is the word, but the existing value I need to find out first. So I'm going to say all words is the hash map which I'm using. I want to get the value. Which value? I already have it. Key, get word. So this is going to give you the existing value because you're saying get of key. So when you say get of key in hash map, it will return you a value. So whatever value you're getting here, we need to increment the counter by 1. So we have incremented the counter by 1. Okay. So I believe so far the logic and what we are doing makes sense. Okay. So this is all the logic what we need to do inside this current method, because if you see our loop is ending here, right? But we have still not found out the duplicate words. Actually, we need to also iterate the duplicate words and along with the count. We have already stored it into hash map, but we need to iterate over the hash map. So we will do that in a separate method. Let's not do everything inside the same method. So I'll say print duplicate words. I'm going to create a separate method. And for that, I'm going to pass this hash map all words as a parameter. So this is making it more readable and very less complex. So I'm going to put the logic of doing the iteration and finding out the duplicate words in a separate method. Let's say public void print duplicate words. Okay. And I'm going to have here a hash map stored with similar generics. I'm saying all words. I'm keeping it same name, but we can give it any name, that is fine. Okay. Now here important part is we need to start doing iteration of hash map. Okay, we have got the hash map object called all words. Now, as we know in hash map, it doesn't support any kind of a iteration. Okay, it doesn't support the iterator method. And this method is not allowed. Neither list iterator or other type of iterator which we have generally. This hash map interface doesn't have this kind of a method. So what we have to do is we need to slightly change our logic. So instead of directly going for iteration of hash map, we need to convert our hash map into, we need to create a iterator of hash map, right? So we need to create a set that is called entry set. because hash map is a storage of all different entries. So it's a storage of all different entries. And what is an entry in Java? Each entry in Java will have key and value pairs. Okay. It's like a collection of different entries. So we are going to say it's like a method, all words dot entry set. So it's a set, right? Set of what? It is a set of map dot entry. Okay. Map dot entry is like a type of it. We are trying to access entry, but with this, which is within map interface. And what is the type of map dot entry? It is string comma integer. Okay, don't confuse here. So I'm going to close this part. So set of type map dot entry, and map dot entry itself is of generic type. And I'm going to say here set of entries object equal to all words dot entry set. This is the thing which we have to do first. We need to convert it into a set. Clear so far? Now what we have to do is we need to start doing the iteration for this set, because we have a iterator supported for set. So we have to say iterator, okay, on the right hand side. So this is going to return you an iterator of type this one. So I am going to say on the left hand side iterator of map.entry, copy this entire thing and put it here. Iterator of map.entry, and we are going to say this as itr of entries. It's going to start doing iteration. So we are saying set of entries dot iterator. Now we have a method inside iterator called has next. Means it's going to check whether it has a next value or not. So I'm going to say has next. Okay. If it is having a next value, then we have to access the next value. So we are accessing a next value by next. So this is going to be of what type? It is going to be of type map.entry. So this is very simple. Understand it what we are doing logically. So I'm going to say entry equal to itr entries dot next. Now we simply have to get the value and key and the value, right? So I'm going to put a condition now. If entry, whatever we are having, dot get value method we are having, right? If it is greater than one, then what we have to do? Then we need to print that, right? Because that is the duplicate word. So then I'm saying key. Let's not do key. Let's directly get the value. So let's say entry dot get key, whatever key we are going to have inside this entry. Okay, we have methods like get key and get value. So get key will give you the key and get value will give you the value. So we are checking a condition that if the value is more than one, then you print me that key as well as the value. So let me say here like an arrow mark, and let me say entry dot get value. And that is it. So we are just simply put a if condition, and that will give us all our duplicate entries. So this is the question which we have, right, to solve, that we need to get all the duplicate entries. So we have put a condition only for those which are duplicate, only those we will obtain the key as well as we'll obtain the value. Okay. And we need to be make sure that there is no syntactical error while writing the code during interview. Even in case you get a syntactical error, don't panic. Try to think what exactly is wrong syntax wise and then try to solve it. Now we need to first create an object of this class in our main method. So we will create the object. We will say obj equal to new duplicate words. Okay. Now none of the methods are static, so we need to use the object to call them. So I will say find duplicate words. Okay. And then I'm going to pass the string str. Okay. And that is it. So once we call this method is internally going to find the duplicate word as well as push it in, or store it into a hash map object called all words, and then it's going to call a separate method called print duplicate words, which is going to call all words. Now there is a good thing that you try to also write this dot, because you are accessing a method of a class which is also invoked by the method, invoked by the object. If you see here, we are calling obj dot find duplicate word. So this object is calling find duplicate word, right? So whenever you're referring to any method inside the class, which is referring to that class only, we can always use the this to point to the current object. But still, it's optional. I'm just saying from a conceptual perspective. If you write, it's good. Okay. Still, it's okay. It will not give you any syntactical error. So that is done, and we also would be requiring collections to be imported. So because it's like a online library we are trying to do. So this is I'm showing from an interviewer perspective. They will ask you to do it in some online Java compiler. So I'm doing it in import Java util.star. They will not allow you to sometimes do it in an editor like Eclipse or any other NetBeans or any other editor. So try to prepare yourself without having any code suggestions directly on an online compiler and try to solve it. So have one quick look at it. If everything looks good, then let's start compiling. That's the practice which I normally follow. So you go. So we have got the output. Java is repeated 2 times. Let's look at the key, right? Python is repeated 3 times and programming word is repeated 2 times. So this is a very popular interview question in Java. And this is the way we need to practice using online Java compiler. And as you keep along practicing, you will get comfortable with this. So wish you all the best, and do let me know in comments if you would want me to solve any other interview question or which you want me to work on. Thank you so much, guys.